Good afternoon, friends. Welcome to Coffee Break. This is Dr. Michele. I'm greeting you. Happy Tuesday. It's another week, and I'm coming in a bit early today. It's a class day for me, so I just need to do this thing to be able to share stuff with you and to be able to discuss a topic that might not be very popular, but where you're wondering about, Doc, ano ba yung topic na yan? So, this topic, it's actually very intricate. Shall I say intricate? Pero I believe it's very good for us to get to know this topic, enmeshments. Can you say that with me? For those of you who are here, let's greet each other, friends. Let's greet each other. If you're here already, if you have any expectations or insight about what we're going to talk about, kung meron kayo naisip, ano ba yung word that comes to your mind whenever you hear enmeshments, di ba? Parang siyang mesh. You know what mesh is? Di ba? Yung parang the mesh, yung parang net, yan. And then, everything there is happening all at the same time. But let me just go over with you those things in a bit. So I would like to ask you, how have you been? How are you, friends? For those of you who are here, you can just start sharing it, start saying hi here in the comment section of this coffee break. You can share this episode to family and friends. And let's talk about enmeshment. Maybe you hear this several times. Maybe you hear it sometimes. Maybe you hear it, maybe you have not. So let me know what are your thoughts about enmeshment. So I think I have a few viewers here already. I know it's a bit early. I know some of you would still come a bit later. But let's start talking about enmeshment. Sa mga nanonood na, are you familiar with this word, enmeshment? Can you say that with me? And what comes to your mind when you hear about it? Actually, this word is often used in terms of relationship, and it's often used in terms of it's a psychological term. Really, it's the first time you heard about it. Okay, so paano ko masasabi what is enmeshment? It's a psych term, and at the same time, let me just go over with you. Ayan, Tin. I know you're here, Tin. Thank you for telling that. It's about boundary setting. And then let me just go over with you. What are the things that we need to consider? Yes, it's like entanglement. Tama. So, Tin, no boundaries, correct? Um, uh, Irene, hello, entanglement. Okay, let's just go over it. I like it. Some of you know this because some of you are people and friends in my profession. So, simulan natin. It's actually blurring of boundaries between people and usually family and people we are committed to, in maybe not committed in loving relationships. So it's blurring of boundaries. And when you say boundary setting, asan dito ako, asan dito ikaw. So one of the perfect examples that I like, so if you would notice, andito siya sa caption that I put when I posted about this topic in Coffee Break. What I realized that enmeshment can be likened to a mashed potato. Do you eat mashed potato? Do you eat mashed potato? So let's liken, what's the difference? What's the main difference between a mashed potato and uh, baked potatoes? Yan. Doon natin tingnan. So, bago natin simulan, mag-analyze muna tayo ng pagkain. O, di ba? For those of you who are having lunch or dinner, wherever you may be, let's look at the components and the criteria. Not the ingredients, not the ingredients, but the components and the criteria and the quality of a mashed potato and a baked potato. What do you think are the main differences and similarities of a baked and mashed potato? So I like saying na pag narinig natin that it's enmeshment, we can liken it to a mashed potato. So, sa mga nandito natin, ikaw, meron ka bang guess? What do you think is the main criteria of a mashed potato? Meron ba? Mashed potato. Mashed potato and baked potato. Paano ba sila? Pareho sila ng somehow, I think they were cooked the same. But how they are formulated, it's different. So, let's start. Ang mashed potato, pag niluto, ang mashed potato, mashed potato, it's actually the, ayan, Claire! Ay, gusto natin yan eh. Baked potato, you clearly see what's in it. Mashed potato, halo-halo na sila. Labo-labo na. Perfect. Tin, baked potato, intact yung shape. Tama. Ang baked potato, intact yung shape kasi intact si potato. Pero it's topped off with other ingredients like the cheese or the butter nagme-melt na dyan. Pero makikita mo, ay ilang patatas ba to? Pag nakita mo siya, kahit na na-slice na, oh malamang mga 5 patatas to. Because intact yung shape niya, the identity of each potato, it's still there. The identity of the cheese, you can ask for baked potato na pakitanggal po yung cheese or easy on the butter, on the salt, pwede mong paalis. As compared to mashed potato. A mashed potato, it's really mashed up. Diba? We feed that when Migo was, my son was young, isa yan sa pinapakain namin sa kanya. Tama ka, Claire, mashed potato, halo-halo na, labo-labo na rin. Look at it this way. Yung mashed potato, hindi mo na makita kung nasan dyan yung patatas. Kung kasi hinaluan na rin dyan ng iba pang patatas, hindi mo alam kung gaano siya karami unless kumain ka ng madaming at mararamdaman mo, busog na ako. Pero you cannot request to go easy on the butter, go easy if there's cheese, and you cannot ask them to remove the milk. Or you cannot tell them na, ay tanggalin na lang po yung salt. Hindi, kasi andyan na siya. Magkakasama ng ingredients. So, there's no clear identity of the ingredients. And the mashed potato also, since it's mashed up, one potato can be matched up with the others. So kung may bulok or pangit yung isang patatas, pag na-crush na yan, pag binakuluan mo na yan, hindi mo na makikita which one is which. Am I making sense? So, the biggest differentiation, as I said, is that the mashed potato, there's no clarity on boundaries, on the shape of the ingredients and if each of the potatoes, wherein the baked potato, you clearly see it, as Claire said. And then, ano kinalaman yan sa relasyon? Malaki. Because enmeshment is actually the blurring of boundaries between people, usually in family, and usually minsan nangyayari din to in marriages. And come to think of it, it contributes a lot. It has a lot to do with family dysfunction. So pag sinabi nating dysfunction, it means that they cannot function so well, kaya dysfunction. So ay yung family niya dysfunctional. Maybe because in the normative sense of a healthy family, it's not functioning normally. So enmeshment in family, it's actually a possible root of dysfunction. In other terms, I think in another episode, I talk about self-differentiation. Can you be able to tell who you are apart from the people in your family or in your relationship? That exactly has a lot to do with enmeshment. So, enmeshments may be problematic. It can be very problematic. Kaya pag sinabi natin na that relationship, yung mag-boyfriend na yun, they're too enmeshed. Hindi mo na alam kung sino ang may gusto nung isa. Parang pag nag-desisyon ka, kasi desisyon niya. Pati sa pamilya, pag sinabi nung nanay, ay ito yung gusto ng anak ko. Gusto ba talaga ng bata or gusto ng nanay? That could be a very critical factor. This is actually part of a family systems. I teach family systems theories, and enmeshment is coined by Salvador Minuchin. He's a family therapist, and then he said that the boundaries help define who and help each one in the family. So, di ba boundary, alam natin kung what belongs to each member of the family. Another one is that, oh hi Joey, I hope you're okay. I miss coffee break. Yeah, I miss seeing you here also. Another, the boundaries help define, for example, in the family. We are all in the family now. Boundary setting, alam natin which one will take the role. Who will do this, who will do that. Or, itong gamit na to, for example, itong table na to, ito akin to. That's my boundary. So, hindi pwedeng kung sino-sino lang yung gagamit nito in the family because it's clear to us na may kanya-kanya kaming sulok ng bahay. So, there, blurred boundaries, blurred of boundaries, pag nag-blurred ang boundaries, pag para siyang mashed potato, na nawala yung identity ng bawat isa, it's really called enmeshment. So if you would like to note what is really enmeshment, take note of the mashed potato, mesh and mashed. Everything is mishmash in the family. Family members are close to an extent that it's hard to tell who is who. Walang masama if the family is very close. It's important for a family to be very intimate with each other, for each family member to be close, to develop intimacy, to develop affection. There's nothing wrong with that. But if it's to the point of excess, if it's already excessive and if it's already unhealthy to the point that we cannot tell anymore kung ano at sino ang identity ng bawat isa. That's hard. I need you to realize that in meshed family, really, you cannot tell anymore the characteristic of each ingredient. So as mentioned earlier, that the baked potato has intact shape or maybe mashed up ng konti pero kita mo pa rin may balat pa rin yan. In a mashed potato setting, in a mashed potato family, hindi natin kita yan kasi halo-halo na sila. Kung anong matripa nila, bahala silang maggawa. Or as I said, intimacy is important. Emotional investment is there. But you come to think of it, the person in the family is so much invested on the we, meaning the relationship, the family, maybe the marriage, maybe it's the parent-child relationship, maybe it's the couple relationship, maybe it's the parent to adult child relationship. The parents or the couple may be too invested on each other to the point that they can no longer tell the identity of each person. Hindi ba maganda yun na parang pag tinignan niyo isang pamilya, alam mo kung sino yung identity nila? Yes, because there must be a balance between the identity of each family member and kailangan balanse yan. While you are trying to balance the identity of each one, the we, you're supposed to actually still protect the I. Protect the identity of each person. For example, that lahat tayo, we would like to eat healthy. But maybe kanya-kanya rin preference. So, maybe you're eating the same potahe, but it doesn't mean that ang paborito ng isa, paborito ng lahat. But in enmeshed family, the emotional investment is too high that parents put all their actions and emotions towards children or each other. So, for example, a couple in enmeshed family, ito yung literally umikot yung mundo nila sa isa't isa. So, lahat ng effort nila, actually for marriages, yeah, I think it happens in marriages that there are couples who are too much investment on each other. And actually, mothers are possible candidates when it comes to enmeshment. Why? You ask me why. There's a tendency for moms to put and invest everything they have with their kids, with their family. I'm not saying it's wrong, but what might no longer be helpful if they are impeding already the process of the child at hindi na rin nadidevelop yung sense of self or the identity of the child because the parents are actually hovering over functioning or the parents are directing everything that the child would think, that the child would prefer, that the child would feel. Kahit na emosyon, kailangan diktahan. And is it healthy? No. It might look helpful when the kids are younger. But when the child is older, it's no longer healthy. Because what if the parents pass away? What if they want to get into their own relationships? That actually speaks a lot of the failures of many families. I have to say this. They rely heavily, the parents actually are the one directing everything. So is there a tendency for parents to be too invested on their kids? Yes. And even the fulfillment of their kids, academic achievements, ito sorry, I have to say this, yung parang feeling natin lahat ng achievements ng anak natin atin. yung parang tayong naka-enroll. Pag nagkamali yung anak natin, pag bumaksak sila sa exam, kasalanan natin, inaangkin natin yung pagkakamali without realizing na, hey, it's my child who took the test, not me. And then feeling natin pag may exam sila, may exam kami eh. Finals namin eh. So may project kasi kami. Bakit natin kinakami? Pero ang naka-enroll at ang totoo niyan, yung bata dapat yung gagawa. Walang masama na may malasakit, may suporta. But if it's already excessive, can you say that with me? Excessive. Can you put that? Excessive investment, emotional investment in the child to the point that not allowing the child become someone, or you would like your child to become someone that you are directing everything already to the point of manipulating, then it's no longer healthy. I like what you're saying here, Noreen. It's not fair for our children to become our trophies. Yes, kasi hindi naman yan yung role nila sa buhay eh. Not just for kids, it happens to families, right? And another thing that enmeshment may be possible. Some parents, if it's, for example, they have an unpleasant or a not healthy marriage, and then the tendency is that if they have adult kids, they rely on their kids for emotional support. Ang hinihingan nila ang pinag-share nila ng problema is yung kanilang mga anak. Walang masama dito. Pero kung at in excess that the child is already filling up the role of the partner, kumbaga hindi dapat problema nung bata. For example, high school kids. Tapos yung problemang mag-asawa na too heavy for a high school kid, sa kanya mo lang sinasabi, that is actually being too enmeshed because there are tendency that the family or the child feels burdened and guilty na parang may kasalanan ako, mayroon akong role to fulfill in the family, kailangan kong tulungan si mama kasi ako lang yung kakampi niya. So ayan, nagkakaroon ng kampihan. So I would like you to reflect about that. Does it happen to families you know about? Because in reality, we don't really check our level of enmeshment, but there might be some. If you can relate with them saying, please press heart. Please put there that you can relate with what I'm saying. And if you have observed some families who are enmeshed, what do you think are the manifestations sa mga bata? Kung isang couple ay sobrang enmeshed, ito yung tipong how can I live without you syndrome. What do you think are the tendencies of these couples? Anong nangyayari sa bata? At ano rin ang nangyayari sa couple? In all honesty, in mesh family, they may seem okay, but in reality, in the long run, they're not. It impedes each person's development. Lalong-lalo na for a child. They cannot grow up. And for me also, I believe it impedes the fulfillment of an adult. For example, an adult like me, I'm a mother, and I know many of you can relate with me. Kaya nga kayo nandito sa coffee break, we can relate with each other. It impedes also maximizing my talents. It impedes also that it's adult stage, ito dapat yung ma-achieve ko. But no, because I'm putting all my energy just in my family basket, and then there's nothing else that matters. It's okay, but if it's no longer life-giving to other areas of our life, what if that basket fail? Kaya kung may bulok doon na patatas, naaapektuhan lahat, panis agad yan. Kung yung inilagay natin sa mashed potato na ingredients, for example, spoiled milk, buong mashed potato natin hindi maganda. So here, it actually being too enmeshed actually affects the sense of self. And itong pinakamahirap. Kaya in the Philippines, di ba meron tayong mga mama's boy syndrome? Because that's enmeshment. Because they find it difficult to engage in other relationships. Either they become too entitled, or they cannot make adult decisions, or maybe they become overly dependent on someone. Those are the possible things that can happen if there's too much emotional investment to the point of not allowing the other person to grow up. And of course, ito yung pinaka-critical. Some people who are very enmeshed finds it hard to have emotional regulation. Dok, anong ibig sabihin yan? Natatakot siya, nagigilty siya agad pag meron siyang kausap tapos nasaktan. Or pag nagalit yung isang family member, feeling niya dapat galit din siya because emotional regulation or emotional boundaries are not set. They feel that one emotion in the family is actually the emotion of the other families. Actually, it's really a cause of dysfunction because each person is entitled, or we as individual human beings, developing human adults, we're supposed to have our rationale and our own emotions. We have each. So if it's already not clear for us, ano ba dito yung idea ko o idea ng ibang ng pamilya ko? Nararamdaman ko ba to o kaya lang ako nagalit kasi nagalit sila? Have you encountered those situations that you can no longer tell which is yours and which is your family's? If you are always in doubt na ganito or you're not really aware na hindi pala talaga ako galit, sila lang pala yung galit, kaya lang ako nainis dahil sa kanila. So it might be really a cause of a sign of dysfunction. So what are the other signs that we can look into if there is enmeshment? One is that the lack of appropriate privacy. Lack of appropriate privacy, minsan naririnig ko to sa parents in parenting talks. No? Doc, paano po yun? Entitled na ba sa privacy yung anak kong high school? Yes po. Yes po, may kanya na rin siyang identity building kasi. Kaya dapat we are allowing them to grow. Paano yun kung meron mga risk? Paano yun kung may mga makasakit sa kanya? Yes, kasama yan sa package deal. If we allow them to grow or we allow them to develop their own person, they can be capable of managing their conflicts, ask help when needed, and make decisions for themselves. Diyan natin natitrain yan. And another sign is that some parents, it's okay for us to treat our kids as our best friends. But if we are already in that point of what we call parentifying our kids, sila yung ginagawa nating parents. For example, hindi kayo magkasundong mag-asawa, tapos binubuhos mo sa anak mo na younger. Of course, younger ang bata. Pero younger, what I mean is mga grade school or high school kids. Binubuhos mo lahat ng issue mo sa tatay because you are best friend. That limits your world. Wherein the child ideally has other friends of their own and you have other friends of your own. That limits your world to the point that you're being stuck with each other. And that may cause enmeshment. Another, parents confiding secrets to the child. Kasama yon, di ba? So, best friend kayo, so akin lang, akin lang yung secret mo, huwag mong sabihin kay kanino. It's okay to tell each other secrets, but we are not entitled to everything because parents need to acknowledge that my child needs to have their own world too. Pero I think this goes the same for couples that yes, it's good that you share each other's secrets. It's good that you're our best friend. But if you're no longer seeking other relationships, you don't have friends apart from you being boyfriend or girlfriend or you being a married couple, or minsan naririnig ko yung mga husbands na ayaw nilang may barkadang iba yung wives nila kasi silose. As I said before, jealousy is not a sign of love, it's a sign of insecurity. And that can actually be a sign of enmeshment pag ayaw nilang may other relationships ang isa't isa. Parents being overly involved in child's activities or achievements. Sinabi na to kanina. So parents, check natin sarili natin bawat kembot at bawat galaw ba ng anak ko, feeling ko ako yung nanalo. It's good that we are happy about them. As Noreen said, our kids are not our trophies. And most importantly, sometimes it causes enmeshments if we play favorites. If parents, you play favorites and then you give one privilege to one child and then yung iba wala. Kasi parang you are building your own system within your family system. And it's not healthy. Other signs that we can note if there's enmeshment, that the person feels guilty. If we are overly invested, maybe for example with the kids, and you're making them feel guilty na, hala, puro friends ka na lang, wala ka ng time kay mommy, or, pagtanda ko kailangan alagaan mo ko kasi inalagaan kita. We're making them feel that they're tied to us. I need to use that word, tied, na ang mundo nila iikot lang sa pamilya. That may be, they sound ideal for the sake of love for family, but then it might not be too healthy because that can actually lead to very dysfunctional pattern. And sometimes Kids also feel guilty when they spend time with other people. I think I've heard this many times in adult kids that they feel guilty pag may oras sa iba because their parents are making them feel guilty. And I think looking at all these aspects, it's important for us parents to have a self-check. What I mean by that, it's important for parents to check, nasan ba ako dito sa sitwasyon na to? Am I being too entangled with my child? Am I being too, if I'm a wife, uh, am I being too entangled with my spouse to the point na kami na lang yung iikot, ito yung term sa Tagalog, umikot na lang yung mundo nyo sa isa't isa. Friends, check that one, especially now in this pandemic that we are all at home. The opposite of entanglement is estrangement. Estranged, di ba? Estranged wife, estranged husband. Yung naghiwalay na at wala nang pakialamanan. There's such thing as estranged, but there's such thing as entanglement. Entanglement, buhol-buhol. Magkakasama, all mashed up like the mashed potato. Entanglement, and estranged, walang pakialamanan. So different from each other, too apart. Friends, can you relate with them saying, because this is a challenge for us to look closely in our family systems, because we just might not be raising our kids for them to grow. Yes, our short-term solutions for our kids may be well-meaning for the time being, but will that help them in the long run? Are we preparing our children for life, that when they go out of the world, they're life ready? Yes, magkakamali, pero anong mangyayari? I would like you to reflect also in the context of a loving relationship in a marriage or in a boyfriend-girlfriend relationship. Yes, it's good that I'm very intimate with my partner, with my spouse, but what if this person that I so love and devote all of me would get sick, would die, would move away from me? Who will I be? So that thing that ako personally I don't say the word, I don't like to use the word my family, my life. No. Because we have a life also. Family is, I work with families. I love my family. But I would like to say I love my family. They mean the world to me, but they are not my world. They are not only my world, because there's a bigger world out there that I can put energy also. So that if ever I can be the best person for my family, because I already enrich other talents, other abilities, and other areas of my life. Am I making sense, friends? So I would like this to be a reflection for each of us. Where are you in the family? Where is your family in your life, and where are you in the family? Are you too enmeshed with it to the point that you can no longer be objective? Or wala kang pakialam? Or are you creating that perfect balance for a healthy functioning of all family members? That while we are giving love and attention and support to our kids, while we are loving our partners now, but then there's room for each family to grow apart from the family. That is where we're at. And next Thursday, I will talk with you about moving out of enmeshments and what we can do. Let's look into the effects, the long-term effects of enmeshment. So friends, magbaon kayo. Kung meron kayong kwentong enmeshment, please put it here in the comment section so we can start talking about it on Thursday. And I hope that this episode is very helpful for you. Let me just go over some announcement. Of course, I hope that you continue supporting me, Dr. Michelle, here in Coffee Break. You can support me by going live and in bringing you this very crucial information on family life, well-being, and faith by supporting Coffee Break through stars. And you can also message me directly if you would like to support through Gcash. So I really, really am thankful for the people supporting Coffee Break. Thank you, Joey, for sending stars today. And if you feel that you are generous in your heart today, you can continue sending support, financial support, or digital gifts so that I can continue paying the things that I use here in Coffee Break. And I would like to invite everyone, if you would like to change your life, you can actually do that by being part of the Feast Conference 2022. It's called Joyful Joyful. I hope that you try to do something differently for yourself. Every year, I personally attend the Feast Conference. That's formerly the Kerigma Conference, by no other than Brother Bo Sanchez, and a whole 40 plus lineup of speakers, including I myself, will be part of it. But I also attend to make it a personal retreat, to make it like a personal rebooting every year, every November. That's okay, this is the Feast Conference weekend. Walang pwedeng gumalaw niyang weekend na yan for me. I hope that you can join me. Tickets are still available. So no matter where you are in the world, it's only 999 for regular tickets for 3 days. You will be mightily blessed and you can bless more people in your life. So if you would like to have a reboot, join us for the Feast Conference. And of course, continue supporting here at Coffee Break. I will see you on Thursday. Let's continue the discussion on enmeshment. Friend, bago ko tuputulin, enmeshed ka ba? And what are your thoughts about enmeshment? Please put that in the comment section. Share this live stream to other family and friends who might need it. And I hope that this episode bless you so we can move out of our enmeshments and relationship entanglements. Magandang araw sa inyong lahat. This is Dr. Michele for Coffee Break.